I've been drinking celery with carrots and lime, and it's been loosening up, the guitar, and the wine is good, and I got my weightlifting belt, get myself together here. Well, I was busy moving furniture, and putting things together. So if I feel a little bloated, it's like I got the weightlifting belt, pushing me up. But it does wonders for my back. Even though it pushes my stomach out. It's okay. You gotta do all kinds of things to keep it tight and to keep it good, right? Listen, everybody, how's everybody doing? It's me, and of course, Shadow. He's somewhere around here somewhere. Today, we are going to talk about Atlantis and Lemuria, part 2. And I didn't get to talk about the separation of the sexes. Que soledad. Drinking my glass of Merlot, and of course, I got the split, so when we go deep, Atlantis and Lemuria, we're gonna jump right in. I had mentioned that society back in them days was quite primitive. Man was bestial, animal-like, plant-like. By the end of the Atlantean epoch, entering the Lemurian epoch, man became erect. He became a Homo sapien, or not so much a Homo sapien, that came later, but he was definitely a Homo erectus, as described by science. He stood erect. As the plant kingdom emerged, tall and straight, so man, from his blob-like appearance in the Hyperborean epoch, he now stands erect. Now he has a posture and a spine. This is his passage to the plant kingdom. But man at that stage was cold-blooded, and so were the animals. The concept of being cold-blooded comes, when you see these movies where a man kills someone in cold blood, that saying, that expression, cold-blooded. Well, it does have an anthropological history, because there was a time in man's early history where he was cold-blooded. And I'm talking about actually the blood was cold. And everything in that time was cold. Remember, the atmosphere was hot, molten lava. The earth was new, it was very hot. So there had to be an internal buffer to counteract that heat of early earth. So our blood was cold-blooded to counter the tremendous heat of our planetary atmosphere at that time. That explains why man was cold-blooded, and why amphibians to this day are cold-blooded animals. Everything has a zoological and anthropological history, even the geological history. Material scientists have done quite well in figuring these things out scientifically, but they've never made a connection spiritually or esoterically. And they do like the caduceus of Mercury, or like the snake coiling the staff, Shambhala. You have the science and the spirit coiled together as one. That's the caduceus of Mercury. The union of science and spirituality, and that becomes the essence of God itself. So understand that in the Lemurian epoch, the human being was not a three-dimensional human being. He might have looked two-dimensional, having a body that looks, human, but his soul, his spirit was still animal-like, plant-like. He was a two-dimensional human being instead of a three-dimensional human being like he is today. It took the movie The Walking Dead. You watch the movie The Walking Dead or the series? These people who make these movies, I tell you something. Sakeyama. He just came out. Someone me la Sakeyama. Listen. I don't even know how to begin this segment because it is quite complex. It is. Because there's a lot of homogeneity that has to take place in order for you to understand what life must have been like in the Earth's early anthropological history. Now, one thing that we have to bring clear is that Atlantis did not exist thousands of years ago. It lived millions of years ago. Millions. So that's why you don't find anything about Atlantis. Because if it did exist thousands of years ago, we should have something on record. Don't tell me that we're going to learn about the Egyptian civilization, the Sumerian civilization, which was thousands and thousands of years ago. And we know so much about those cultures. Yet Atlantis, that existed supposedly less than 10,000 years, there's nothing about it. There's no record about it. Think about it. The reason why there is nothing about it is because it didn't happen that soon. A lot of what happened in Atlantis and in Lemuria has been lost in history, has been lost in antiquity. You want to know? Okay, you see this? You see these tarot cards? You see these tarot cards? If you talk to an anthropologist, a cultural anthropologist, or a religious anthropologist, they cannot tell you the origin of this. They appeared in Europe in the 1700s. The white deck or the rider deck, this is the Aleister Crowley deck. Ooh. The point is, the tarot cards, where do you think it comes from? The Ouija board, where do you think it comes from? Okay. All of this ancient, dealing with crystals, magic, all that happened in Atlantis. When Atlantis sunk, along with Lemuria, these were brought over to Egypt by the priests of Atlantis, where it survived. Okay? Oh, it's deep. It's deep. And it's about to get deeper. One of my laws here. Before we go deeper, then the deep I'm gonna go. We gotta talk about how the sex separated. Because like I have mentioned to you, there was a time when man was a hermaphrodite. possessed both man and woman. A man possessed both the female and the male genitals. Yes, the show Supernatural. Yes, that's right. I love that show with the two white boys, the two brothers. Yeah. I used to watch that show all the time. I like to watch all kinds of witchy poo shows and witchcraft and all the time to see what they're telling you. Because they have shit in what they're telling you. And these so-called fiction shows, science fiction shows, well, they're really telling you some shit. I was in Atlantis. I remember my life in Atlantis vaguely. I remember how I died. I did see images of how I died there. And I saw myself in Egypt. So I've been doing this for eons, okay? So it's wonderful when you know who you are as a soul. I know I am God in human form, but the God in me is not fully awakened, otherwise Fernando cannot exist. Just like you cannot exist if the God in you awakens. Because it liberates you from matter. Oh, that's deep. I just told you a mystery there. But I cannot go much further with it. When man was developing and was moving from the blob state and getting an erect posture, meaning that he was going now from the mountain state to the mineral state where he was having solid, but not quite completely solid. Then when the plant kingdom emerged, man became more erect and more plant-like as he moved along through the different stages of evolution of our planet, taking the morphology of our planet as man and our planet together simultaneously evolved. Now, when man reproduced, he reproduced by budding as a blob, where he was at the blob stage, budding. And then as he moved closer towards the animal and plant stage through binary fission, unequal parts, but then becomes equal, and that became the parent. That is hermaphroditic in nature. But the larynx was developed at the plant stage, which made man higher than the rest of the animals, which is why he had to develop a posture of erect posture. The procreative forces were first in the larynx, but it was also the means of producing and absorbing energy. This took all of the energy of the body to bring about knowledge and internal awakening. The energy to procreate internally wasn't enough to develop the mind. The development of the mind could not happen and then at the same time develop the reproductive organs at the same time. There was no way that man could advance by reaching a level of intellect and spiritual development if he was too busy procreating. There'd be no room of energy to raise the energy to a higher consciousness. I'm simplifying this, but it's actually quite complex. And I'm putting it down, I'm writing it down, and I'm putting it in my website, my anthropological series on medium.com. I'm still writing that, putting that together. But understand that there was a time when we were one sex. The sex was not a man with a female genital. It was a female with genitals of a man, which is why a woman's clitoris, if you don't mind me being a little bit, a woman's clitoris sticks out like a penis. right inside the vagina or the vulva. Okay? That right there, when you look at the vagina, right, or the pussy, you look at the labia, you see the clit, it resembles a vagina and a penis. This is right there. When you look at a woman's vaginal anatomy with the clitoris and all that, you can see evidence morphologically of the hermaphroditic stage of mankind. And it was a woman. It was the woman that was created. The woman was a hermaphrodite. But again, to evolve the soul and also procreate required that the sexes be separated. So now you have a man and a woman. A woman's job is to fully procreate, while the man is to develop the spiritual higher levels of attunement, which the procreative forces will not allow. Because the energy cannot split in two. It's all one flow of energy up or one flow of energy down. So the sexes, by the end of the Lemurian epoch, were separated. The Bible, again, gives an account of this, but they make it look like it was a man that was first. And then from the man, they took a left rib and made the woman. Total bullshit and a total corruption of the facts. It was woman that was created first. And this makes sense because everything around us is feminine in nature. You already know, we've talked about that. And it was from the rib of Lilith that Adam was created. Ooh, I just threw a big one there. Okay? Man came after the woman. And it makes sense today. We come out of one pussy, our mothers, to enter another pussy, our girlfriends or our wives eventually. Look at it. Oh, it's deep. It's deep. And it's about to get deeper. Okay. Hi, everybody. Yes, Lilith was the first woman, not Eve. Eve came later, much later. Oh God, much later. Millions of years later in evolution. Man was modified. He wasn't allowed to advance too quickly, or he'll become as gods and overthrow the gods that are already there. So he had to be reduced into matter. This is where Saturn comes in, where he goes, okay, and now man was not allowed to advance beyond the gods. This is written in the Bible. It's in the Quran. It's in the Torah. It's in the Bible. Come on, guys, put it together. Put it together. Whew. Whew. Yes, really. Yes, really. These are the countries you ain't gonna get. And I can prove it too. Yeah. Lilith could have been or could be perceived as Lucifer's twin, but no, it's not. It's out of God, but it's not. So tell me, these were all raw in creation. When God said, and this is where the Bible begins to talk about when Adam and Eve became two separate beings, a man and a woman. That did not happen in no fucking Europe. Europe did not even exist. All of this happened in Lemuria. That continent does not exist anymore. Neither does Atlantis. But the real story of creation took place there. The story of Sumeria and the Anunnaki, all of that came much millions years later. Our fascination with Sumer should really be giving homage to Atlantis and Lemuria during the age of the Atlantean epoch and the Lemurian epoch. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Oh, it's deep. It's deep. You will read more about it in my anthropological series as I'm writing more about it. Now it's time for the split. Oh. El Faisán. There's so much that you need to know that you don't know. We really are babies. We really are innocent. And the powers that be has made sure that humanity has stayed asleep in knowing the true history of who we are and the origins of mankind and even of God and what that is. Yeah? Yeah. You know it. You know? Oh, you can hear it. I need to lower it so I don't get in trouble. Oh my God. That Tony Vega video. Oh my God. I'm glad. I'm so glad that YouTube, paid for it, took it down. Oh dear. So, yes, you are. I'm ready to the books. I have a content to write a few books. So, a lot going on. Yeah, jam to the music. We're trying to put this together. I mentioned why the sexes had to be separated. It wasn't enough to procreate, to have children, and still develop the mentality and mind that will eventually take us back to God. You have to have two separate forces working towards the same goal. One creating down here and one aspiring to go back up. For that, you have to separate the sexes. I will have it more explained in detail in my anthropological series. I'm just giving a taste. I am trying to breathe. You did not forget all of this. It was not taught to you. Your mankind has been brainwashed to think something else. And over millennia, we became completely dumbed down. But now that we are in the Aquarian age, there's going to be a resurgence. The tequila. I got my little scotch here, but I'm not drinking it now. Having my wine, then I'm gonna eat. What was that? Well, let's see. Okay. What are we doing? Oh, thank you. White looks good on me. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. With the separation of the sexes, mankind was able to procreate and also work towards something other than just procreating, aspiring to become divine beings. And that required two separate conduits. And this is why Jehovah separated the sexes. Yeah. Well, I practice homeopathy. Love it. Okay. Can't stand, these commercials they put in there. Oh. No, we can do that one. Let's bring them down. Oh my goodness, I'm getting all together, but I gotta stop. We are done. Guys, donate for content. www.paypal.me/thepeoplesastrologer or call for a reading 3474856258. Now I'm gonna go and talk on astrology 101 and talk about the aspects as now we complete the Aries series. And then we're going to enter Taurus and discuss a Taurus series. Close.